and just doing my business. I do my business, but I'm trying to do what I can to help all of you. And people, I get tons of phone calls throughout, not just people in my office, but all of our offices on a regular basis. A lot of times they know the answers to questions and they just want to get reassurance that they're headed in the right direction. And so I do that, but business changes and people have questions and run upon things and they need some answers. So I want to do a little bit of that today with a little bit of a review. So let's go back. I should have sent this. Those of you that don't have it, just send me an email and say, Don, send this to me. And this is just a little breakdown. Let me see if I can enlarge this a little bit. Does that help? This is a little bit about the process of working with buyers, getting something under contract, and then what do you do once you get something under contract? What are the things that are necessary? So we've done this at length, but we're going to zip kind of down through this. Remember, when you have a buyer, you're going to first of all identify if that buyer is working with someone else. Don't do all the work, answer questions, pull up data, give them that data, and they go, oh, by the way, I'm working with Don Brewer. Okay. You always want to be helpful and so forth, but once you identify that they are not working with anybody, or they might have been working with someone and decide they want to fire them. I don't like that person. I don't feel comfortable with them. I want to move on, and that's okay. Okay. But for instance, if you asked them if they're working for another agent and yeah, I've been working with Don Brewer, great, and doesn't matter who it is, always say, great agent, let me contact them to let them know that you're looking for information, because I don't want to overstep my bounds in, doing something, but I'll contact him and tell him we've spoken. Okay. So take care of it that way. You need to make sure that when you are getting a new purchaser, that you're getting all the information that you're going to need in order to work with them. Email addresses are as important as cell phone numbers. You want to get their full name. You're not going to put Billy Joe Jim Bob Earl on their documents and paperwork and contracts you're working with. You're going to need a proper name. Get a home address so that you can contact them by snail mail if necessary. There may be a situation where we do what's called a mail away, where documents may be FedExed or emailed to them so that they can print out and mail their documents for closing purposes, because they're not available to be local for a closing or meetings. Okay. You always want to remember to ask your buyers about, have you arranged financing? Okay. Now, I can't, and it's one of those things where follow your own instructions, and I have not done it myself, but I promise you, going forward, every time I have a listing, in the portion on the tab, which is the second to the last tab, where it has agent notes and remarks, where it has the stuff just for agents, I'm going to put in there that the seller reserves the right to specify who, to approve the lender, basically. So seller reserves the right to approve the lender. When these people come to you and, yeah, I got Rocket Mortgage and I got this company and I got that company. Okay. I am closing today at 1 o'clock, a closing that should have happened over a week ago, because the company is out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. And we get to closing last week, and they said, we got to move the closing to Monday. Okay. Because, and the appraisal came in late. And remember, once everything's done, the purchaser has to sign paperwork, and then there is a 3-day period that's mandatory that has to go by before you can actually sit down and sign papers. And so that period wasn't going to make it, so they had to push it into Monday. Okay. This Monday, they call us and say, we don't have a clear to close today. It's going to be Friday. And this is what the other agents tell me, and said, okay, why are they not clear to close? I don't know. They just said not clear to close. And I said, I need a number. So I got the person, I called them. Where are you located? Ann Arbor, Michigan. Okay. Why aren't we closing today? Y'all set the closing today, and now you're telling us, right, we don't have a clear to close. And I said, I heard you. Why aren't we closed? Well, we don't have a clear to close yet. And I said, you know, let's don't go around and around. And I've been doing this 34 years, and I'm not stupid. I get it. I understand there's not a clear to close. Why is there not a clear to close? What happened that caused this for you not to be able to get a clear to close? We don't have a verification of employment. And I kind of hit the roof, which I don't do. And I said, you mean to tell me you are missing a document that you were supposed to have on day one when you sent an approval, a pre-qualification letter, and you don't have that document, and that's causing this to back up a week? And he said, well, we got it in hand now. We just can't get it clear to close and get it closed Friday. You know, I said, you know, this is the most elementary kindergarten bull crap I have ever heard of. And I said, I'm done. Get it closed. There ain't anything we can do about it now. But moving forward, that's a lesson learned. Don't let that happen to you, what just happened to me. What I should have been able to do is early on, if this was a local lender, to get in my car and ride to their office and go in their office, go behind their desk, put my hands around their throat and choke them to an inch of their life until they gave me an answer that I needed. Okay. Now, all of that is being facetious, obviously, but you get my point. When you can get face to face with someone in a short period of time and not have to drive to Birmingham, Atlanta, Dallas, Ann Arbor, Michigan, Nashville, which a lot of these companies, they pick up something offline and they think they're saving tons of money, and they don't. So make sure they're working with someone that is local and that is a good lender, has a good reputation, and so forth. So once you are have your purchaser and they say they've got financing, what kind of financing? Are they using cash? Who's the mortgage company? Who's the mortgage loan officer? Have they gotten a pre-qualification letter done? How much is left before they get a full approval? Okay. When you're working with a purchaser, you need to ask the question, and always remember, one of the very first up here questions when somebody is looking for a property, and this is anybody that you're working with, a purchaser, seller, you ask the question, what is most important to you? What's most important to you? And by finding out that information, that may be a huge time saver, and it should be, because you are finding out what things are important to them, their family, their children, and it could be anything. Hey, I want to be in this neighborhood because that's where my mother lives, and we want to be close because she helps babysit. I need to be in a home and I need a gigantic garage or workshop area because I on the side redo automobiles, or it could be anything like that. So you're going to ask all those questions, ask for things that they got to have, ask for things that are deal breakers and so forth. So you ask those questions. Then you want to get together and you want to arrange your showing appointments by the information that you've collected on those things that they want and things they don't want. You're going to, once you've found a property, you're going to get together and you're going to work out the details of what they want to offer, present it to the listing agent, get it negotiated, and then you're going to set the closing. Okay, once you get it done. Things to do once you get something under contract. The very first thing that you want to do is arrange a professional home inspection. And as I've told you before, and this goes against the grain of what you are told and learn in real estate school, that you can't direct or guide someone, give them a choice of 3 or 4 people in anything that you want to do, mortgage lenders, home inspectors, and all of that. Now, here's my philosophy. All that's a bunch of bull. Okay. You can do it like this. Here's 3 different lenders. They're all real good. You know, if I was getting a loan today, this is who I would use. You can do it that way. I plain old tell them, hey, you know, there's a lot of good lenders around. From a personal standpoint, this is who I like to work with, because they're going to put my customers on top of the heap, because they want to keep my business. They're very reputable, great company, and do a great job. And I recommend, I say, if I was doing this and I'm not hurting anything, and yes, I'm kind of directing, but I don't think there is a situation in the world where I'm going to get in trouble by directing someone to a top-rated company, a top-rated lender, or whatever they are, that's been in the business, and so forth. So the key thing is, in any transaction you do, selling, purchasing type transactions, you want to be in control. You want to work with people that know you, that are going to go out of their way to help you and help your people, because they like the way you do business and they want to keep your business. And that's the justification for doing it. And that's why I say, hey, you know, here's 2 or 3 home inspectors. You know, this one right here is real good. I can probably get a hold of them, and they can adjust their schedule to get you a home inspection instead of waiting, you know, a week to do it. They get it done and work you in tomorrow afternoon type thing. So you want to get a home inspection. You get a closing date schedule. And the same thing on the contract, there's a place in there on who you want to use for a closing attorney. You tell them, this is who I would use to close mine. Don't let them tell you, my Uncle John, he's an attorney, he can do it for us. No, you tell them, and again, I'm a little more slam the door in how I'm telling you this. Of course, you're very diplomatic about it, but the way you present it to them is, that's not a good idea to try to get a family member or someone that doesn't do strictly real estate. All attorneys, yes, they can close a deal for you, but would you want to have brain surgery and have someone that only does it now and again and mostly does kidney work? You want somebody that does brain surgery every day. And that's what you want. You want someone that that's all they do, and they're not going to make mistakes. And there's not, you know, everybody out there is not a strictly a real estate attorney. So you can get them to most likely agree to use the real estate attorney that you recommend. You want to get all of the information regarding that contract and closing. You want to get all of these things here. You want to get everything from who the listing and selling agent is, the names of their company, all of their contact information, email addresses, telephone numbers, how much the commission for each side is, who the mortgage company is, who the loan officer is, who the warranty company is, all of those things, termite inspections, everything, okay? And we do that, and make sure that all bases are touched and get that to closing. And if you're able to do that, then you should be able to get to the closing table with very few uh-ohs that didn't take place. Okay. Now, once you get all your paperwork done, then it is a matter of stay in touch. You don't do all of this and you do this in the first couple of days of closing and then show up at closing. You want to, on a regular basis, talk to your person, seller and purchaser, let them know what's going on, what you talk to lenders and inspectors and so forth, and pass that information on. And you're always asking them, are there any questions that you have? If we talk and hang up and 10 minutes later, you think of something, call me. Let's don't wait till the last minute. You always want to talk about things, even minor things. Remember, when you're going to closing, you need certified funds. All of the closing companies and attorneys require them. They don't want you writing personal checks that they have to go back if there's a problem involved and so forth. So you want to go get certified funds. Avoid wiring. Okay. If anybody ever wants to wire funds or have funds wired to them, do not be involved ever. The most involved you want to be is, here's the name and number of the closing secretary at the attorney's office, and you contact them to get wiring instructions. Don't you ever pass it on and say, here's the wiring code, here's this, here's that. And why do we not want to do that?
Liability.
Exactly. We don't want to be on the end of, well, there's people online all the time that are monitoring email conversations and so forth, and just waiting on getting a hold of a realtor where there becomes an opportunity where you start talking about wiring funds. And literally billions of dollars are lost annually to people that are getting their wiring instructions basically stolen, and they're getting money wired to a number in Nigeria or something. They're just basically getting ripped off and stolen. There's nothing you can do about it, but certainly somebody can pull you into it and say, I just did what my agent told me to do, and here's the email that was sent and so forth. People, thieves can figure out a way to steal stuff, and they do. I know that back when we were Alpha Realty and I was a broker, I had to approve closings and purchases and so forth. And I had one day, I had one of our accountants in the office, and they said, Don, what's this $20,000 payment to Bank of America? And I said, no, I didn't do a $20,000 payment to Bank of America. Well, here's the email. And sure enough, it was for me, and Bank of America, and account number and all that, to pay, some odd amount, 22,000 and some dollars and so forth. And somebody had gotten in my account and knew that, I could authorize payments and so forth. And, I had to redo everything. They had the thing set up where it was blocking anything coming in from Alpha to me, asking about it and so forth. It was very sophisticated the way the thing was set up, but it was just really simple. It was a way to do a theft, and fortunately, everything was checked on and it wasn't paid. But my whole point is that goes on all the time. People scam. So be careful. Only give information that is directing them to who to talk to, and let them do anything regarding wire transfers. When you go to closing and people going to closing, make sure that they're bringing their picture ID, driver's license, and so forth. A lot of times they require 2 IDs. And the reason they do that is they want to make sure that the people signing the documents are the people they say they are. They went into years ago when they changed and they started requiring that. What had happened is, an example, a guy would get his girlfriend, they'd go in and they would do a refinance or an equity line, and she would sign papers for the wife, and they would get a big amount of money, and the wife never knew anything about it, and they were headed to Mexico somewhere. The big thing was a woman that was in prison had somehow gotten one of the women that worked in prison, gotten her identification stuff, gotten her purse and got all her stuff. And when she got out of jail, she used that ID in order to buy a house. And when they were getting to doing the paperwork and everything, she was trying to get an FHA loan, and they say, no, you can't get to, well, the actual lady who had worked at the prison and gotten her purse stolen was trying to get a loan, trying to get an FHA loan. They said, well, you can't have two FHA loans. She said, I don't have an FHA loan. Oh, yeah, you do, here. And so it was found that her identity was used to purchase another house. Well, that lady got to go back to prison again for the theft. But the whole thing is, they want to know the people that are signing the papers are the actual ones. And so there's a process. Always let your people know in advance what to expect. Okay, what to expect. Don't let them be blindsided and not know that they owe money or how much money that they owe at closing, when their payments are supposed to start, how payments work, all of those things. You need to make sure that you let them know in advance. Okay, let's kind of just have a little round table of those that have questions regarding this or regarding anything. And
You look in the chat box, Don, there's a question.
A question in the chat box. It says, what's the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval? Well, pre-approval is supposed to mean, and there's really no such thing ever. Nothing is approved until it's closed, because there's always contingents. A pre-qualification, what that means is that a person has talked with and gotten information to a lender, and based on that information, the lender is saying this person is going to be able to qualify to buy and will loan them this amount of money. And what that means is, we know who they are. We've gotten the information regarding their employment, how much they make. We pull their credit to make sure they're credit worthy, all of those things. And based on that information, we're going to be able to loan them this amount of money. Now, they may change that when the person's told them, I make $100,000 a year, and they get their verification of employment and how much they make, and they only make 60. So all of that is based on them identifying that information and showing that it's accurate. And it usually is, not a whole lot of times it would come out different. Now, pre-approval means I've gone through the complete process. I've given them everything, tax returns, they've got my verification of employment, my verification of funds to close, they've gotten all of that, and I'm ready to go. All I got to do is find a house and get an appraisal on it, and we can close. That's the difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval. Okay, next question.
Don, I got a question.
Okay.
So, I mean, I know you and I have gone through this before as far as like who orders what, and it was funny because the way I think you and I talked about the home warranty is that the listing agent orders the home warranty since the seller will be paying for it.
No.
And so I did that on my last deal, and the buyer's agent, I did a lot of stuff for the buyer's agent that I really didn't have to, but she walked into the closing and said, "Oh, I appreciate you ordering that home warranty for me." Is there a rule that who orders what?
It's communication, but here's my rule. The selling agent needs to order the home warranty because they're representing the buyer. And I don't want a home warranty for my buyer that I represent. I don't want a home warranty that I'm not familiar with, that the home warranty representative doesn't know me. So if there's a problem, I can call them direct and say, hey, my buyer at 123 Oak Street, their air conditioning went out, and I can talk to them personally. So I don't want you ordering an XYZ warranty that I don't know anything about. I want them ordering a Old Republic or American Home Shield or a America's Preferred or something I'm a little more comfortable with. And even if it's one of those, I want to be the person ordering if I'm the selling agent. Now, if I'm the listing agent, I'm going to ask. If you were the selling agent on my listing, I'd call you and say, Andy, do you want to order the home warranty for your customer, or would you like me to do it? And remember, there should be in that blank on the contract where it doesn't need to just say America's Preferred, where it says warranty, or Old Republic or American Home Shield. It should have that, and it should have up to a dollar amount, okay? Because those things, you can start adding stuff on and make those home warranty, a couple of $1,000s.
Right. Well, that's what I was wondering, just to protect my seller.
That's right. You want to have a dollar amount, and you don't want to order something for someone else's buyer and it not have all the coverage. Well, I wanted septic tank coverage, and I wanted pool coverage, and I wanted, this, that, and the other. And you can add all kind of things on there now. And that's why you want to leave it to the person that's representing the buyer. That makes it real simple. Okay. Who's representing the buyer, do it. You can always offer to
definitely put a limit on the.
Always.
Okay.
On page 2, up at the top of the page where it says home warranty, who's paying for it, you want to put the home warranty and up to and whatever the dollar amount is.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Sure.
I think I asked you this before about the home warranties, but I don't remember what the answer was. But so did you say that the representative or the company or whatever gets paid after close? How do they get paid again for the home warranty?
All of that is when you sit down and I pull up, because I've signed in and created an account, which all of you need to do with the different warranty companies that you want to work with. And so, for instance, American Home Shield or Old Republic, all I have to do is sign in. It'll recognize me as an agent with ARC Realty, and I just start filling in the blank, putting in the information, and then it will send an email for the application and the coverage to me. It'll send one to the other agent involved, and it'll send one to the company that is closing it, whoever the attorney is. So they will get that, and they'll put it in with the file, and they'll add it on to the closing documents. So when you see the closing statement, some of the things that you should make sure that you're looking for on it is home warranty, who's it to, how much is it? You always need to look to make sure the commission is correct. You need to look at all of those things, but it's on the closing statement, and it's paid for by the attorney that pays all the things, all the way from the taxes to, many different things. That's what the attorney gets paid for doing, is to distribute the money. Someone else.
Don, you mentioned earlier that you had a problem with internet mortgage type company and problems going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Are you finding out that that's becoming more and more of an issue, or are people still pretty much dealing locally? Is this something we need to be aware of, that more and more people are internet searching out here and we could have a growing problem there?
Yes, that's why you always ask the question. That's why when somebody's bringing you an offer, you want to know who that offer is through. And as you said, if we protect ourselves and say right there in the listing, the seller will approve. And I think what I'm going to put in my listings is that seller reserves the right to approve purchasers lender, lenders must be local, that type thing. It's just a problem when you're working with these type companies because you, as a rule, are not working with an individual. You'll get a different person that is handling the file the way they set up their lending practices. You know, you're not going to get me every time you call. You may get Andy, you may get so-and-so, you may on down the line, a different person that's just going to pull up the file and be looking in the computer monitor and seeing what's been done and hasn't been done. You want to be able to get the same person all the time, talk with them, and they know you when you answer the phone. New people out here, you need to find a lender that you're comfortable with. You need to go, you need to introduce yourself and just say, you know, hey, I'm Luke Grantham. I'm from Arc Realty. I wanted to come by and introduce myself. I've heard good things about you. And when I have a customer, I'd love to refer them to you for you to be able to help them with their mortgage. They will love that. Okay. You want to work with people that do a good job, know who you are, and going to take care of you and your people. Somebody else this morning.
I had a question regarding my closing, and mainly because this will be my first closing coming up. So I want to make sure everything is done right because the guy selling his house is actually leaving the country Monday.
Right.
So do I need to make sure that whatever closing costs and everything he needs to have to his agent at closing, like is it make cashier's check instead of a personal check or whatnot? Like whatever.
You're talking about your purchaser?
No, the seller, because he is.
Seller doesn't have a thing that he's taking. All the money that he's owed, the proceeds from the closing is given to him by the attorney. Everything else is paid for by the attorney. The closing costs, which is loan costs to the lender, that's part of the money that's paid to the lender. The seller is not involved in anything. You didn't write a check for not a thing.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure because I know that in ours, you know, we negotiated that the seller was going to pay the closing costs.
He doesn't have anything to do with that. He doesn't even know what the closing costs are because that's going to be calculated on a per diem all the way out to the day of closing for taxes, prepaid interest, you know, pay off on his loan, all of those things. Did you get that appraisal situation worked out?
I did actually. It came in yesterday. The agent, that's why I had to turn my mic or my camera off earlier. The agent had literally just called me and they accepted the appraised offer.
Okay, very good. All you got to do is what I told you yesterday, scratch through the old price, put in the new one, get everybody initial it, send that to the lender.
Pull it back up in the transaction portal.
Yeah, well, you're good. Yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
You'll also have to have a new net sheet too, Don.
Yeah. I told him that yesterday. You got to redo your net sheet from the original price to the new price and get your purchasers sell that to sign that. Anybody else today? Okay, I always appreciate you. Y'all have a great weekend. How many of you are going to go to Bo's party in Pell City Sunday? Oh, I wish you were going.
I'll be there.
In the meeting, our manager's meeting on Zoom yesterday, he said he had 360 people RSVP that they were coming. So it's going to be a big party. They got music. He said he got 4 food trucks. He said there's no way they'll run out of food. So if you change your mind at the last minute, he said bring them on. But listen, y'all have a great weekend. As always, if you have questions, let me see. What's the difference between can you recommend lenders you're happy with? Yeah, Willis, if you'll get with me after this meeting, I'll be glad to recommend some lenders. A good one. We got good contact with, because it's Andy's husband, is Matthew Manning. He does a stellar job at real estate funding. There's several others that you can use, but you can get a hold of me. You can talk with Andy about it, but you want to get those people that have good reputation, that are easy to get a hold of. And listen, I've worked with some people that got people qualified in a heartbeat while they were on their laptop headed toward the beach type thing. And we do this. This is not a 8 to 5 job that we do, people. You figured that out. You may be doing business after 10 o'clock at night, and you may be doing it real early in the morning. There's no regular hours. And it's the same way that those people that we are involved with, that is necessary to do what we do. And that is to be able to provide funding for the people we have that want to buy stuff. So working from 8 to 5 is really not practical. You want to get someone that is going to talk to you and be willing to do it, because that's their job, how they make their living, and do it at odd hours. You know, somebody that is going to talk to you, help somebody out, and they'll do it at 8 o'clock at night, is somebody that is special. And those are the kind of people you want to do business with. Okay. All right. Anybody have anything else? If not, then we're going to sign off. And
Yeah, I was trying to see if you will send us all maybe a short list of lenders and inspectors that you guys.
I want to do that on a personal. I don't want to say I'm telling the company that y'all need to work with this. I'll do this on a personal basis. If you want to contact me and get some recommendations, I'll certainly do that on a one-to-one thing, but I don't want to do it as a group. You understand that, right?
Yep.
Okay. So anything I can do to help you, let me know. Y'all have a great week. Daleen, we got that contract all worked out. They're doing the home inspection on Monday, and hopefully everything will go well and we'll get this thing closed up. It's a 60-day closing, so it's not going to happen till the first of the year, but important thing, it'll happen. Okay.
Cool. I'll call you shortly.
Okay, honey. Bye-bye. We'll talk to y'all later. You have a good one.